Have you ever considered that being too nice could be your downfall? It's a thought that might seem counterintuitive. After all, isn't kindness one of the virtues we should all strive to embody? While it's true that kindness is a noble trait, there's a precarious balance to maintain. Being excessively nice to the point where your own needs and boundaries are overlooked can lead to a host of unanticipated issues. Imagine yourself as a river, flowing with generosity and goodwill. People come to you drawn by your warmth and willingness to help. In the beginning, it feels good, you're making a difference, you're needed, but with time you realize that the river is running dry. Your resources, time, energy, emotional capacity are being depleted, and you're left feeling drained and unappreciated. This is the reality for many who fall into the trap of being too nice. They become a wellspring for others, often at the expense of their own well-being. People begin to take their kindness for granted, crossing boundaries with the assumption that their demands will always be met. This can lead to feelings of resentment, as the giver's needs are constantly sidelined for the sake of others. The stress of trying to please everyone can also lead to burnout. It's like running a marathon without any rest or respite. Eventually, the body and mind give in, leading to exhaustion and a sense of defeat. The river that once flowed freely is now a dried-up stream, its vitality sapped by the relentless demands of those it sought to help. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's a different path to follow, one that allows for kindness and generosity without self-sacrifice. This path is rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoic philosophy, a school of thought that teaches the importance of setting boundaries and maintaining a healthy balance between giving and receiving. So let's embark on a journey to explore this philosophy and see how it can help us avoid the pitfalls of being overly nice. Let's delve into the origins of Stoic philosophy to understand why setting boundaries is crucial. Stoic philosophy, dating back to 3rd century BC, provides a roadmap for leading a balanced life. Our journey begins in ancient Greece, with a man named Zeno of Citium. Distraught after a shipwreck, Zeno stumbled upon a bookstore, and it was there that he discovered the teachings of Socrates. Inspired, he decided to establish his own philosophy, Stoicism. Stoicism quickly gained traction, with influential figures such as Seneca, a statesman and dramatist, and Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, adopting and propagating its principles. But what exactly is Stoicism? At its core, Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. It teaches us to embrace our emotions, but not to be enslaved by them. It nudges us to understand that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions to them. Imagine being in the middle of a storm. Stoicism doesn't deny the power of the storm, but it empowers us to stay calm amidst the chaos. It's like having an inner compass, guiding us to remain steady, no matter how turbulent the sea around us might be. Stoicism also promotes an understanding of the natural order of things. It nudges us to recognize that the universe is not always fair, and that's okay. It cautions us against the pitfalls of being too nice, of compromising our own well-being in an effort to please others. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the concept of amor fati, a love of fate. This means accepting everything that happens in life, the good and the bad, as necessary and inevitable. It's about understanding that life is a mixture of pleasure and pain, and that both are integral parts of our human experience. So, how does this tie into being too nice? Well, when we're too nice, we often neglect our own needs and desires. We may end up feeling unfulfilled and resentful. Stoicism suggests a different approach. It encourages us to maintain a balance between being kind and compassionate and preserving our own well-being. Stoicism teaches us the importance of balance, something that can be lost when we're too nice. Stoicism provides a unique perspective on the dangers of being too nice. This ancient philosophy, founded in the 3rd century BCE, encourages us to focus on our own character and virtue, rather than seeking validation from others. It teaches us to value our time, our energy, and our own needs, and to not let others take advantage of these precious resources. Imagine your time and energy as the precious gold coins they are. Each day, you only have a finite number of these coins to spend. Now consider the people in your life who are constantly asking for your coins, your time, and your energy. Are these requests always fair or justified? Or are you simply being too nice, giving away your coins without a second thought, to the detriment of your own needs and desires? Stoicism teaches us that our first duty is to ourselves. This doesn't mean being selfish or uncaring, but rather, it's about understanding our own value and not allowing others to take advantage of our kindness. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and remembering that it's okay to put our own needs first sometimes. Being too nice can lead to us neglecting our own needs and desires. We may find ourselves drained, stressed, and unfulfilled, all because we've been too busy attending to the needs of others. This is contrary to Stoic teachings, which emphasize self-care and individual growth. Stoicism reminds us that we can't pour from an empty cup. We can't truly help others if we're not taking care of ourselves first. So, how can we apply these Stoic principles to our everyday lives? How can we avoid the trap of being too nice, of giving away our time and energy without considering our own needs? It starts with self-awareness, with recognizing our own value and the importance of our own time and energy. It involves setting boundaries, learning to say no, and remembering that it's okay to put ourselves first sometimes. Let's dig deeper into how we can apply Stoic principles to avoid being too nice. Being nice is a virtue, but like all things in life, it requires balance. Through Stoicism, we can learn to strike that balance and live a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, and true to ourselves. How can we use Stoic principles to set boundaries and stop being overly accommodating? Let's dive into the practical application of these philosophical teachings. Stoic philosophy encourages us to be masters of our own lives. How, you might ask? By taking control of what we can, letting go of what we can't, and discerning the difference between the two. Consider this. You're asked to take on a task at work that you know you don't have time for. The too nice version of you might feel obligated to say yes, putting your own workload and stress levels at risk. However, a Stoic approach would involve a thoughtful analysis of your capacity and the importance of maintaining your own mental well-being. This is where learning to say no comes into play. Saying no doesn't mean you're unkind or unhelpful. It means you understand the value of your time and energy. It means you respect yourself enough to prioritize your needs and not overburden yourself. It's important to remember that feeling guilty for prioritizing your own needs is counterproductive. Guilt is an emotion that Stoics believe we have control over, and it's often tied to things outside our control or influence. When you start to feel this guilt, remind yourself of the Stoic principle of focusing on what's within your control. Your emotions, your responses, your decisions, these are all within your realm of control. It's not about being selfish, but about understanding that you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't effectively help others if you're overworked, stressed, and stretched too thin. Applying Stoic principles also involves cultivating inner strength and resilience. It's about understanding that external events don't have to dictate your internal state. You can choose to remain calm, composed, and rational regardless of the circumstances. To wrap it up, Stoicism is about empowering yourself. It's about setting boundaries, valuing your time, and not feeling guilty for taking care of yourself. It's about understanding that you have control over your actions and reactions, and using that power wisely. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish, it's about respecting and valuing yourself. Let's recap the key points we've discussed. We've taken a deep dive into the hidden dangers of being overly nice. It's an all too common trap, where we prioritize others' needs and desires over our own, often leading to feelings of resentment, burnout, and self-neglect. It's not about villainizing kindness, but about understanding the importance of setting boundaries and maintaining a balanced approach to our interactions with others. We journeyed back to ancient Greece to understand the roots of Stoic philosophy. A school of thought that emphasizes the pursuit of virtue above all else. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. It's a philosophy that encourages resilience, emotional strength, and most importantly, wisdom. We then explored the intersection of Stoicism and the tendency to be excessively nice. Stoicism, with its emphasis on self-control and virtue, provides a powerful antidote to this issue. It encourages us to be kind, yes, but not at the expense of our own well-being. It invites us to set clear boundaries, to be assertive, and to learn to say no when necessary. Applying these Stoic principles can help us navigate the challenges of being too nice. We learned that it's not about becoming selfish or uncaring, but about respecting ourselves enough to maintain our own emotional and mental health. It's about understanding our worth and not allowing ourselves to be taken advantage of. It's about cultivating wisdom to discern when our kindness is being exploited and having the courage to protect ourselves. Remember, it's not about being less kind, but about being kind to yourself too. It's time to stop being too nice and start being wise.